The youth of Africa, you are being sold a dummy, and that dummy is as good as the so-called or the 1884 demarcation of Africa. Now, the world order creates a big power that dominates. That is the history. The world order creates a new power that dominates the economic space in the world. If you look at the history, the Roman empires, the British empires, and now the American empire, you can see that the domination was an economic domination. And therefore, the next world order is going to be dominated by the richest country, which is China. They dominate by way of a model that is called hegemony. Hegemony is a nation going into another and taking advantage of that nation to the economic advancement of that nation. Now, when nation A dominates nation B, it creates a process where nation B depends on nation A for security mostly, and therefore the dependence on security of nation B, let's say Africa is nation B, let's say A is China. Now what then happens is that in times of crisis, when nation A, which is China for example, gets involved in a security balance or a threat of war or war itself, it demands that nation B supports it, works with it. It's a demand because you are attached to it as a defense and capital. And this is what has happened with the Western system today. Africa is attached from capital and defense in that they are trainers, as it were, that if almost every nation in Africa, there's foreign trainers in our armies. So the key thing for you to understand is that the world order has no advantage to Africa. The world order has some specific issues that affect Africa, but they can be aligned through a strategic process to an African world order. The most important thing is to build a new African order. When you build an African order, it means that you have a social stature, you have a social order that then dominates and leads your industrialization, your education, your hospitals, your housing, infrastructure, to empower your generation, to empower you to create the wealth that then translate into higher conditions of life. The African order is what we need to uplift our people from where they are, destitute, to the advanced state where they can begin to take advantage of what's going on and drive what is going on to their advantage. And by following on the African order, we look at what is happening, what has happened, and create a manifesto. In other words, a list or an agenda of the things that protect the African environment, that protect the African society, that protect the African resources, African land, that protect the industrial place, that protects our consumption power, which is what every other nation is coming want to take advantage of this explosive consumption power, meaning the role, I mean the roads, the transport, the food, the education, the industrialization. They want to take advantage of that. Now we need to build the world order of, I mean the African order, before we can go in the life stage. Before somebody is promoted to be a CEO of a nation or on the board of a corporation, they have had some, they have built and conquered, they've shown, they've built the core foundational stature that allows them to be there. You can't just get and be on the board when you don't have the experience. We cannot be as Africa on the board at the same table with the Chinese, with the Western nations, because we don't have the resources, we don't have the power. And we still think that our generally, all these technocrats generally who are running the governments believe that the Western nations give us the capital leaders in our transformation. And now there's a strong wave of others that want to get in between the fight of the Western nations, China, America. They want to support the Chinese on the basis that the West are our enemy, and therefore with China we will do. Those nations, China did not align with any other nation to advance, and therefore Africa does not need to align with other nations to advance.